Yep.
individuals like Andrew Tate, the Kevin Samuels, the Fresh and Fits. Going even further back, you have Patrice O'Neill's, the Tom Likas of the world, who kind of preached against this institution for years and for decades. And of course, that they've
Mhm.
always been labeled, these are incels, these are men who can't get laid, these are men who are undesirable, all these things. Do you have any
Mhm.
thoughts on them themselves and like their genre of information going out?
Um, I mean, I follow a lot of that content, and I've learned a lot from these men. I happen to think that Andrew Tate is pretty damn funny and on point with a lot of the stuff he says. I mean,
Yeah.
he cracks me up, right? Like it's very entertaining.
Hmm.
I understand how he's become so ubiquitous in the space, and like his in terms of like his business strategy to get his face
Hmm.
and his voice out there by like having his clients reshare over and over, and his clients are actually earning money by resharing his content. I think
Genius.
that's genius.
Genius.
Like genius. Like I don't know anybody else who actually thought of that before Andrew Tate.
Wow.
Um yeah, this is the thing. Um these men tend to present very masculine.
Hmm.
And in a society where masculinity is devalued, then it only makes sense that these men would be devalued in their message and
Hmm.
inherently in who they are and how they present, right?
Right.
And that's not new. That's not new.
Hmm.
It's like the only images that you see in media of men is either they're effeminate men, they're gay men,
Hmm.
and they're behaving by social standards, or if they're masculine men, they're being violent, right? They're
Right.
actually they're like committing violence, or they're plotting violence, or they're conning and things like that, right? Like these are literally the images in media, movies of masculine men. And so we really have to be able to open our eyes to the reality here, which is that there is an agenda, at least in the United States, at the very least, even though I
Hmm.
think it's much more broad than that. I believe this is somewhat of a global agenda to
Facts.
not only devalue men, but to devalue masculinity and to paint masculinity in and of itself as inherently wrong and
Hmm.
inherently bad, inherently violent in and of itself.
Wow.
Um, Fresh and Fit, I do follow. I think that their show is entertaining and they make some good points, but like they wouldn't have a woman like me on their show, you know?
Hmm.
And so I understand what they're doing is that they're trying to highlight like what's out there in terms of the way that women think and their broken down value systems. And
Hmm.
I mean, what the types of women that they have on their show are, you know, um, the manosphere would describe them as 304s, right?
Right.
I do believe that that's part of the reason why women like me do need to be able to show up in these conversations, because what I find is that men are watching these shows and they're starting to get this mental visual of like all women are like that.
Hmm.
Like all women are the types of women that show up on like Fresh and Fit.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, bro. Nah. Like you can't, like, first off, there's no way in hell that anybody could equate me with those women or
Right.
women like me with those women. And like there are a lot of women like me, and I know that there are because I'm around them. Right?
Facts.
Like I'm not the only woman on the planet who thinks this way or who talks this way or who believes what I believe in, like there's a lot of us. The
Yeah.
thing is, if you're looking in circles where those women who are on Fresh and Fit, if you're looking in the circles where they frequent, you won't find us.
Facts.
Why? Because women like us who believe in traditional values, who are Christ seeking women, who, or in the very least, have a spiritual foundation, women who value masculinity, who
Hmm.
value wifedom, who see value in motherhood, who in building something with a man. We don't hang out with those women,
Facts. Yeah.
right? Like, if I meet a woman like that, I will tell you 100%, she's not going to enter my friend circle.
Mm.
My friend circle is made up of women like me, right? Because I don't permit male bashing or male hate in my friend circle, right?
Mm.
Because I don't wanna be a coach in my friend circle. I wanna be Oriana in my friend
Facts.
circle, right? So,
Facts.
I can't tolerate that type of talk or that type of behavior in my social settings, right? So, I hang out with women that are, emotionally balanced,
Facts.
emotionally healthy, right?
Yeah.
Intelligent,
Mhm.
intellectual, and for all intents and purposes, happy and fulfilled and balanced in that way.
Mhm.
So, do we exist? Yeah, of course. We're just, we're not hanging out with those chicks.